Hello everyone, and what is going on? Hyperion-Blue-GT here. Need a ride? We'll be ready to go for today's live summit event in your Crew 2 for a rerun. We are in, and this will be having a two different event to have different versions of the DeLorean DMC-12. We'll be having street race, and a monster truck discipline is now being featured to be set by a force vehicle. Will be available for this week after 4 years ago from October 21st through the 28th of 2020. There's going to be having some changes out there for only 4 events, and additional by 2 along with 3 skills will be on exception. But hey, everything is going to be quite good old fashioned and having a great scout moment when driving on 2 different versions of the DeLorean DMC-12. We'll be racing in Wild Wild West and A Strange Affair of the 1950. Atmosphere is quite giving a good street racing discipline to see how old-fashioned thus might give a good classic and vintage for the 20th century. But many changes, including one combo event for the Alpha Grand Prix discipline, will be racing in the USB Tour cities at Washington, D.C. I bet it might be quite giving a good apparently to have some vehicle restriction for this rerun, just like the original, but I'll have to be willing to accept and be prepared to have some many changes for this part of the rerun in today's live summon, along with some few other themed summons from Summer in Hollywood update. So as always, if you're new to my YouTube channel, be sure click the subscribe button, then leave a like and comment at the section down below. Check out the links on the description if you want to see more. Don't forget to click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos in the later future. Let's get ready to go and start for today's live summit event. Let's begin. Valentine's Day season is over, now being placed to be updated on the Platinum by only one follow-up catch-up in Demolition Derby. It takes hard work and doing some hard hitter to rack up with some good points by over the range of 100,000 points to go up in the Platinum. By the outcome, 25th 95 place is now currently to be stopped at 1,169,847 points to get 4 rewards, including the BMW M6 GT3, and letter B for Valentine Tire on the rare vanity is now being acquired. Good to additional to have some exterior parts for the Lotus Evora GTE. Now, this will be doing the first half of the penultimate before coming up in Neon Battle before at the end of the month in February. But great Scott! I just really want a DeLorean DMC-12 Monster Truck Edition is quite very perfect to be placed on the Platinum, along with a good old vibe tire is now on the rare. Fame Magnic for the boosted and good to be double checked. 200,000 followers, and that will be a very good participation to be available in about a day lab. With many changes out there to have some 4 events is on Street Race, Touring Car, Rallycross to be take place in Dominion Frozen at the Five Kings Casino by having an icon guest, and Alpha Grand Prix discipline by using the Proto concept post-performance in the USST cities in Washington, D.C. So I had to get myself ready up and do on skill 1 at St. Louis, Missouri. Speed trap, straightaway, and you know what to do. Grab your dragster and head on over to have a good starting line position to have a good mark, and watch out for incoming traffic cars between on the rear. Just to have a matter of maintain position to go starting out. Had my 7th generation Corvette Dragster Edition to be at the ready. Make that quick U-turn here. Wait for the traffic car pass. Time for a good old drag racing check on the burn, just like doing on GTA Online in Los Santos. But it'll have to be preferred to have a natural free session in the Crew 2. Whoa, okay, that could be a bit much rough around, and that's 377.7 miles per hour check. Gonna tally out the result, and there you go. 119,978 points in the bag. That's one land-based skill check. Time to go on escape for the first part in the Big Sur Highway Coast. Just to have to go up north and grab any kinds of 2 types of vehicle, additional by 1 with drag race, hypercar, and Alpha Grand Prix discipline that you really might need to go capable to be selected and be on the get-go. For starters, I'll have to be preferred to go for the Bugatti Chiron 300 Plus Super Sport that have a standard version to go by some changes in vanities. But it does might have to do some different changes and different styles like the turbine addition to the same Chiron. All set, good to go, and putting up the HAPA carbon fiber, adding up with some traditional and orange trims. Then let's get ready up. Have the smoky nitro to go enter drive away. If I really had to drive away, only one Chiron might have to be a bit much more tougher to have some windy roads in the Big Sur. That could be a very tough course. Just gonna have to drive up north and go faster all the way towards San Francisco. A bit more decent challenge and do some concentration to save plenty amount of nitro whenever you really need to find a good line on the inside. But your strategy might have to do the rest, but mine will have to go by clean racing in style. But there we go. That's 3,500 yards and checked by the first attempt. I just really might need to be preferred to go for the right side of the highway, but it ends up on 84,601 points. But hopefully, right side of the road before taking the main approach by using Alpha Grand Prix or Hypercar discipline might give a better work to do the same drill. Got to do by attempt number 2 and drive away. Gonna go climb up by the boost. Ah, come on. But hopefully, only one other approach when using hypercars or Alpha Grand Prix discipline might give a better solution. Let's have attempt number 2 to have this main right side of the road. Got the boost up. Going faster and have this part of the route for hypercars and Alpha Grand Prix discipline. But also for drag race discipline to go up north is going to be a bit more challenging and more impossible. Got to stay up ahead to have that main queue of the ejected. Follow the line and keep the red zone away from me. Come on, just gonna get back on road. Okay, that's 4,000 yards. Very good. And my colleague just now taking a good check and clear by the surprise ejected. That's 4,304 yards. And update by the standings is 117,844 points. Now that's a good, safer approach for hypercars and Alpha Grand Prix discipline. Next up, Colorado River, here I come and take it on to the mountain states to go on water-based vehicle to do a powerboat. But very good position, and I'll have to go kick it up into high gear. A bit more piece of cake, a bit more faster, and more pack up the torque. But always have to keep a good tight on the gap like this one and make that good straight on the river to be follow the trail. Main ejected complete. Just gonna have to go over without having a contact on the rocks. Almost. just have to be a bit more gently and stay slow on the north. Okay, total yards is now going to increase. 4,500 yards is now being climbed up. Got the ticket and go up in 5,000 yards. Come on, and yes, made it to 6,000. Adding up by 56 yards, and that will be a very good, outstanding total. That's 116,733 points. 3 skills is checked and done. Then let's go to have 2 events by using different versions of the DeLorean DMC-12. So which one should I have to go with? Maybe if I have to go on street race, that will be a very good first step of the stages before moving up onto the monster truck event to have the same DeLorean DMC-12. But my guess, I'll have to take it and accept it to be participate in the strange case of 1950. But there you go. This event is very perfectly to have the DeLorean DMC-12 will go in old-fashioned to be traveled back into the 1950s from the 1980s. Talk about having a good, excited Back to the Future trilogy from Part 1 to Part 3. But great Scott, I just really want to watch that movie to be available on streaming services like Amazon or maybe some other cable services is going to be quite doing some use by original. But man, I bet everybody really want to watch Back to the Future Part 1 to 3 is everybody's most favorite classic hint nostalgia. Before starting out in the strange case of 1950, the per level is now going back up from the original to the 280 is now having some minor changes and adding up to have a taxi style livery, but just putting up to have a yellow color that will be a very good, excellent time travel machine vehicle to have some 2 sets with different style amenity with taxi and electric altogether. But very cool and very much more fine precisely to have this most substitute as a service vehicle. But it still does might give a good sports car to be designed in the early 1980s is quite giving a good classic and embrace the nostalgia of the 20th century. So I had to be ready up. Let one taxi DeLorean will be entered on the grid. Be prepared and going faster by over 88 miles per hour. Feels good to have a good atmosphere for this theme condition. I bet everybody really loved this event. Only one DeLorean and quite giving a good matter of acceleration to get in to the lead. So the taxi light is now in service, so I had to hang on if I really need a passenger to go driving faster. Going shortcut, doing well by the brake, checkpoint clear. Now gonna have to take that next route. Okay, progression is doing well. That will be a very good free time session to have this event and one DeLorean for having a good follow-up catch-up if I really need to be claimed and finish in first place to go faster. But great Scott, electric is all about to have a good time travel vehicle to be labeled as a movie star icon. But here in the Crew 2, one street race discipline to have a standard and rat edition to go for a retro vibe of the 1980s will go for having a good nostalgia feeling. Feels good to be racing in the middle of nowhere, and that's why the main route is just gonna have to be racing up to go approaches to have the next destination to be arriving in the town. Only 30% to go. Okay, coast is clear and it's taking on the turn. I just have to keep going and just keep that electric wheel ghost around the DeLorean. Here comes the next turn. Got to take the inside line. 10 more to go. Just to be arriving in the main destination till I reach the finish line. And there it goes. Just to go straight. And just like you're about to go travel back in time when using the DeLorean. That's 2 minutes, 48.465 seconds is now clear in the first position at the podium. But what can I say, viewers? That's 114,279 points to have one good faster acceleration when using the street race version to the DeLorean DMC-12. So very cool and very much more fine perfection to have some custom parts is now yet to be featured after being purchased to have one standard version to the DMC-12. However, a monster truck version to the same DeLorean is now being set by a force vehicle. But Wild Wild West is now coming up on event number 2. That's how the same cover is just to be quite giving a good Great Scott moment to have one monster truck sized version to the DeLorean. I really hope this might have to be featured to have a customization parts to be included after you might need to get this one as a summit reward. If you already own one, you're in luck. That's why the extra earnings will have to go by extra matter to have the same car will be doing by double. By having the same per level for monster truck discipline, only one DeLorean DMC-12 is now labeled to become as a monster truck edition. By having a RR drivetrain converted into a four-wheel drive drivetrain to have some large set of wheels and even of course to have some wide extension to the suspension to have a good guess on the handling to be on semi-expert. But it doesn't show the horsepower and top speed, unlike all the other monster truck discipline to be same type in America. But I'll have to give it a try and see how it goes to have a good pack of giant sized tires to go up in 88 miles per hour. That should be quite doing one fast course and going down onto the hill. So here it goes. Much more beautiful deemed condition. You'll have to go down the hill and see how the monster truck sized DeLorean to go in action. But much more awesome to see how the DeLorean to go off-roading as a monster truck spec. Just like street racing and drift discipline to have a different variation. The handling is quite going wide open to go well expression. Just like Part 3 in Back to the Future is now going travel back in time into the Old West. But Great Scott, because that could be quite giving a different timeline to have a good role in the Crew 2 to have this monster truck sized version is quite good to be droppable to be off the road. Serving to have a part of the rally raid vehicle, but it can actually do some tricks and skills when doing the front and backflip to see how you can handle this by taking a jump. But here it goes. Gotta take the front flip and good on the touchdown. But I tell you folks, this DeLorean can actually do some tricks when you're entered in monster truck event at the arena. Pretty much more awesome and quite good to be having a good nostalgia rad. Just have to go straight. Going wide west is the most favorite kind of a deemed condition for the DeLorean can actually to go faster and stay around by exactly in over 115 miles per hour. This will have to take a good jump, a little bit, no need to do a flip, just to keep a good eye on the distance and elevation. Much more alive, and go expression to see the DeLorean to go kick it up into high gear. But here it goes. Just keep a good center of the gravity when going up in the hill, and stationary to go for having a one solid touchdown. Just have to wait. Going follow through onto the trees and drive anywhere on different directions. Okay, progression is in 85%. Almost there. Finish line is just right up ahead at the Old West. But here comes the grand finale. Got to go for a double backflip. But make it a single, just to be having a minor practice to have a double to go by tough risk. But there you go. That's a total time in sprint race in 3 minutes, 27.360 seconds. Just like that. And it's 114,923 points in the first attempt. Good awesome and good monster truck spec DeLorean DMC-12 is actually to have this force vehicle when you enter for this theme summon. By updating the platinum in 13,539 place in about 1 day left, by exactly to go by minimum requirement in 105,814 points to go to be moving up into platinum. Only 4 races to go by different discipline, and this will be during a matter of time to go back and use the DMC-12 to be racing for having a no restriction only on street race event. So let's go to the Harlem East, normal condition, and go in nighttime. But it was a lot of fun out there to have 2 DeLoreans is now being added as well. Just to have a matter of deemed condition and 4 of them to go by a normal condition by the usual way between day or night. But after all, this could be a very good nostalgia moment to go by having a normal street race discipline by no restriction.
You're gonna win this easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Okay, let's go. Kick it up into high gear, and that will be a good matter of a deemed nighttime by normal. I know what to do. Just going to keep racing and go by having a matter of street racing action like playing Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Okay, here it goes. Got the hop on the rail. Gonna stay up straight, aim for the ramp, and go forward on straight. I had to get in the zone. Just keep a good line and follow the route. Okay, gonna have to take that right. Alright, coming in. Total gap distance in 8 seconds over. Now he'll have to go proceed on lap number 2. Good thing the taxi light is still turned on, but it'll have to go turning out by this time. That should give a much more fine, better taxi style in action. Progression is at 66%. Got to go onto the left side without any further smashing around contact, but clear spot is very safe and tight. Okay, let's go. Fully electrifying pace is up. Checkpoint clear and almost there. 10% to go remaining before moving up to have one of the 3 different selections on discipline to go for having a time attack, touring car, and a combo at the USB Tour cities at Washington, D.C. Gonna have to climb it up, and there's the total time in 2 laps by 2 minutes, 40.395 seconds. That should automatically tally up the result, and that brings out 104,587 points when using the street race version to the DeLorean DMC-12. If possible, you guys really might need to grab the Rat Edition to the same car is now available to have one street race event by no restriction only. Next up, touring car is about to go racing at the Jersey racetrack will be set and go for a competition to have a good classic of the 20th century. For starters, during the USB Tour Cities update, but we still got an old-timer edition to this Porsche race car is good to go and putting up to have a maximum per level to go faster and suitable to have the Porsche 935 2.0 Coupe Baby Old-Timer Edition is now being prepared and maximum in per level 320. Now it's at 645 horsepower and top speed 248 miles per hour. This old baby is very good and vintage to have this 85 livery is quite giving a good checkered black style is now being applied and well equipped after being cleared to have this previous live summon to be featured with this one. It's about time and go old-fashioned racing for the competition like having a good 20th century of the FIA.
3, 2,
I hope the old girl could really want to go racing. This could be a very good natural habitat.
Listen to the engine. It's saying, let's win.
This old girl can really want to learn some new tricks, perfectly on the track, and racing up to have the 21st century race car is now being good to go and do some few other turns around onto the track. Just to have the first part of the speed and the hairpin to go around. When it comes to have some good old-fashioned race car, that's why everybody really want to learn about these kinds of vintage race car is going old school competition. It takes decades for motorsport to have these kinds of classic race car is now being parade and challenges for the 21st century modern day race cars. Just to have a no spoiler, and this one is quite good to be having a good old fashioned without any GT wing spoiler to this 935 2.0 Coupe Baby Old Timer Edition. A brilliant good nitro on the checker flag, and that's why first place is the key of success. But looks like I'm about to go Trailblazer soon, and progression is at 62%. Gap time in over 16 seconds by a decimal, almost to be at 17. Okay, final sector, here I go and do the final turn. This could get closer to the final lap, folks. The spectators really love to have a good time on the New Jersey racetrack to have this configuration layout for beginners. That's 22 seconds. Got to take one last hairpin to go around and inside the clipping apex. Alright, Final stretch and get the Porsche 935 Coupe 2.0 Baby is now cleared on the podium. And that's 2 minutes 45.066 seconds is now quite good and remarkable to have 109,820 points is good to be cleared, and old-fashioned is the 20th century of the most classic race car in motorsport history. But good, astounding, and good vintage and classic. Now, this will have to take a time attack to go in ice to have the next one in rallycross discipline by using the Dodge Charger RT Hemi. But Five Kings Casino Motorsport Park, here I come and take the number 7 in Dominion Frozen. When it comes to have a good nostalgia temperature of the atmosphere in 1950s, one update in the rerun in Need a Ride, that will have to take a good cold and style to see the Charger wheel going up and make it a good supercharger to have a good spec and station to be on the maximum per level on 230. 666 horsepower and top speed, 175 miles per hour to see how a classic muscle car F-bar layout will do the most decent line and try to avoid having too much oversteer when you're racing on the icy track. But it might give a good excellent horsepower to go faster up and do some tight turns by apply in early brake. Just like all-wheel drive, but muscle cars in F-bar layout will have to keep a good stationary to stay uphold to have a perfect decent balance. So let's go faster and beat the main time.
Pay attention. The first 4 marked turns are the main issue with the circuit. For the rest, trust your instinct.
Yep, gonna have to trust my instinct. Driving a Dodge Charger, and it's like being a Dominic Toretto. Oh man, this is gonna be a bit more slippery and still got some snow. Yeah, looks like the vanity is now going style in effect. Just to keep up driving and stay clean to be doing some good drifting on the apexes by the turns and corners with elevation that will have to take some decent amount of skills when you're entered on any kinds of rallycross events to be around in the US. Okay, going low on nitro, got to do some more drift. Coming up on lap number 2. But it might have to go by the normal condition to have some exception. Okay, there you go. Have that drift of the Challenger is going to be a mixture true Charger. Okay, that's a good style in drifting. Beat the ice. And just beat the temperature to go in cold before spring season is coming up by a few days until March comes. Halfway there, viewers. Got to kick it up in the high gear and just be one with a true driver in the Dodge Charger. Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. Going extreme and go on the aggressive. Only on the track that could take a decent amount of committing on the turns. Go full boosted. %75% in the progression. Got to keep going and keep it up strong. Okay, that's a good gap distance time in 28 seconds. Clear on the checkpoint and do some more ace in the drip. %10 to go. Now let's go quick refill nitro and fill out the gauge by extra speed.
Wow, what a driver! Keep up the good work!
Heck yeah! That's a good 3 minutes, 37.719 seconds to receive 200,000 followers, well earned. But look at this, 115,066 points. Now that's a good muscle car drifting in the ice. Only 2 more to go, and this is going to be quite giving a good decent check of the update to have 5 events check and 3 skills to be triple check. So now, this will have to take a combo event to have 1 Alpha Grand Prix discipline to face up with 7 touring car discipline in the USB Tour Cities competition in Washington, D.C. But bingo, that's why we're about to go to, just like doing a 1 standard touring car event to have the original, to have a good going back into the roots, to have the USB Tour Cities as the main cue of the competition on the city track. By putting up the have that Trackmania variation to the proto concept post performance, but it might be quite good to be served by the second one as an exclusive variation. But kinda like it, and it might be doing a bit more matter to have this kind of a livery and the proto concept sponsored by post performance itself from one of the Ubisoft games, Trackmania. Unlike the post performance variation, but the Trackmania variation to be served as a guest crossover. But here comes the nighttime to go in blue. Let's get it on and get ready to go fast.
Wow, 2 races to go. And this first one is through the heart of America's capital. They call it the District of Columbia because it's not a part of the 50 states, of course. But that doesn't mean it's neutral. And these drivers today won't be in neutral either. It's top gear thereafter. So let's see them rip through Washington.
Let's go clean racing and vote for blue. That's why America always loved about entertainment of racing on the track to go in Washington, D.C. Just to have this challenge for only 1 Alpha Grand Prix race car in the proto concept post performance. But it'll have to be referred to be nicknamed as the proto concept Trackmania. So coming around to have that blind corner to be right past on the Capitol Hill. Going in and proceed in lap number 2. Piece of cake. Got to find a good line and good for concentration.
Well, it's been pretty smooth racing along the National Mall so far, but they're turning now into the Administrative District, where they'll have to start contending with some much sharper turns. Let's see how they handle that.
Okay, sharper turns might be a bit more average, and gonna have to keep up the practice if I have to get back to the full walkthrough by using touring cars. But I can't wait to get myself to have the standard Aston Martin Vulcan whenever I have to beat Clarence Bishop III in the future later on. But still have to take some time. I just no need to have some hassle for waste. Here comes the final lap. Got to slow down and keep going. Okay, going in a bit more tighter. Slow and steady, and get back on the nitro boosted. Progression is now at 85%. Always have to do your best and keep
Reaching
a good
the end of
effort.
that first series of 90-degree turns, making their way back onto the National Mall.
Okay, 90-degree turns to go a bit more opening, outside, inside. Just take your time and go full straight.
Wow! And that's a wrap for Washington. Great day, great racing, and even greater things still to come. Next up, we'll be racing through the Loop and the north side of Chicago.
And there you go, folks. 102,834 points is now cleared by 2 minutes, 46.47 seconds, and Need a Ride Live Summit Rerun is done. Made it on time, and good to be on the over a million points to have 116,068 is being placed on rank 3,839 place. All the faster times of racing, street racing, rallycross in the snow, and plus 2 versions of the DeLorean DMC-12 on street race and monster truck by having a forced vehicle is quite good, and great Scott to be well indeed. Plus to have 3 skills by having 2 types of escape in water base and followed by land base along with speed trap. But after all, that could be having a first part of the penultimate for the latest update during Motorflix Mad. But in the end, that's why Need a Ride is very much more fine classic in style from the 1950s, for only 2 available events will be featured for having this part of the theme summon by original and rerun, just to have 4 years ago for having a long wait of the moment. So I hope you guys really like it, and give your best comments and thoughts about your favorite event by different selections on Discipline. My guess recommend by having Street Race and Monster Truck Discipline by using the DeLorean DMC-12 is very much more indeed and good style and awesome. But after all, few other events to have 2 of them on no restriction for Street Race and Touring Car Discipline, along with the other 2 vehicle restriction on number 7 in Dominion Frozen by using the Dodge Charger RT Hemi as a rallycross vehicle, along with the proto concept post performance at the USST cities at Washington DC. Just like going back to roots by the original, and the rerun to go by an urban city track to have a different theme of nighttime condition to go in blue. That's why it's quite going much more indeed, and well excited out there to have some classic from the past, and for having a modern to have some normal theme of condition, and one is actually to go by having a combo event in the future. So next up, this will get closer to have Neon Battle to get the next 4 rewards to have the silver for the Ducati Panigale R as a street racing vehicle, along with a Neon Battle tire to go by Epic. But hey, looks like more Nitro Chemist boosted for the street race discipline that might be adding up to be additional in Arsenal. Let's have a good look by the preview, and this is going to be quite good to be available to have some few other 2 vehicle restriction only, plus 1 Alpha Mark II will be available as another combo event. There's going to be some land base on Solemn to go tarmac and off-road along with escape. By having a good guess for having escape to go by water-based vehicle. Demolition Derby by no restriction, along with Touring Car and Jet Sprint. And of course, to have the Kawasaki Ninja H2 Light Rider Edition must be required to be entered to have Neon Battle for this part of the cover. So I just really might need to have some 2 futuristic version, plus 1 Alpha Grand Prix race car is now being already acquired. So, gonna have to wrap this up before at the end of the video, and I'll have to get back to it because it takes a lot of good collecting vehicles, and the Crew 2 will be set to have some lineup of vehicle import. We'll be on the way to Motorfest if I really might need to get the next racing installment to be going explode around in Hawaii. But the journey is not over yet. I just still might need to have some unparticipate event, might need to do some check and get some more vehicles along with some more stories in American Legends. So thank you for enjoying watching the video in the Crew 2 folks. I hope you enjoyed. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, Then click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you like to see. Follow me on Deepernet Art, Instagram, Twitter, GT Planet, Patreon, Discord, and more social media platforms. And don't forget to check it out all of my screenshot images on UDRS Insportech, Vision Total Drama, and DreamArt Livery Style Dispenser presented by myself, Hyperion-Blue-GT, as you may ever welcome at any time. I'll be seeing you guys next time on the Live Summit event in the Crew 2, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.